Gamer Pitroid oil water.
Oh my god.
Bruh. And with that, hello everyone, and welcome to. Boy, am I glad that I didn't actually tell you beforehand, but I'm not making this a weekend at Locust because it's not weekend for me. So welcome to Happy Hours.
That's true. Hey!
Yeah!
Where
this is the alcohol-free happy hour, where we're always intoxicated on fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so what's the point of this new little series? Honestly, I don't really know. Besides that,
well, you got me there.
It may air on, or may if I do any of these, it will not be over the weekend. It will be over weekdays, like. I mean, in this case, Monday or Wednesday. Hello and welcome to the stream. You in the chat with those letters. I can't tell what it is, unfortunately. I apologize. But yeah, I'm not alone today. As in the background, there's gonna be some Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, and as the title implies, it's gonna be all about Star Wars. And to a certain degree, Star Wars Celebration 2022. But before we jump into that topic, I'm gonna introduce you to the people in the stream with me today. Starting with Prentice 1215.
I am frightened.
So am I.
thought you were Prentice 415.
Yeah.
So today I am both.
And we also got Daxter Corp.
I don't know how to follow that last one up, so... And I feel like I had it... I feel like I had something beforehand, but I guess I don't anymore.
And we're also joined by Lewis.
Just move on.
Yeah, swiftly moving on to Lewis.
Oh. Hi, I'm the one that's really bad at the game.
Well, on the bright side, it's only my screen that everyone will see live on the internet, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, basically you only called yourself bad, no one else will.
Oh, nice.
Well, I'm not gonna call myself good since, well, if I learned a lesson from yesterday's little stream, I should not land on trees. I've learned.
I feel like this is a good rule of thumb for anything.
Yeah, because either I hit it too hard and die, or I jump off it and get shot in midair.
Oh.
So no trees for me. If I see any trees, I will not be staying on. Oh, I only got ×2 even.
Insert Vietnam joke here.
We just started.
He mentioned trees, and he was playing Call of Duty, I think, right?
Yeah, that is about right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we should not make Vietnam jokes on Memorial Day in the United States.
Oh crap!
You always find a way.
I forgot.
That's the whole reason we're doing this on a Monday.
That's why we're here.
Because I wasn't scheduled to work today. That's why.
Oh my gosh.
Even when you don't try to be cursed, you still end up being cursed.
Man, someone should banish me. Okay, well, this was... I would like to blame some of this on playing Rift Rocks with friends last night, and it got way worse than... Oh.
I don't think Rift Tracks is good for you, I feel like.
Oh, it's so much fun. And if we were all 21, i.e. if I were 21 at least, because alcohol ages are weird.
Oh, should I do this?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just gonna casually run around as Vader with no helmet.
Oh.
Yo, Vader with no brim.
Speaking of Vader, do we want to start with the big one, i.e.
We might as well.
i.e. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought we were talking about a Jawa story.
I mean, I'm still waiting for that spin-off.
Yeah, it's gonna be really great. It's about the life and times of
Utini, a Jawa story.
There we go. John Jawa.
Where is he?
It's the romance of that one Jawa and the lady from The Mandalorian.
There's a lot of ladies for The Mandalorian, you'll have to be more specific.
The engineer.
The one that got axed? Oh.
The one that dated the
Oh,
Jawa.
Pelimoto. Yeah, because in Book of Boba Fett, she said she dated a Jawa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, that took me a second. Good one, Lewis.
She made a big point of it.
Yeah, that was like a plot point. That was like a plot point.
Oh,
so yeah,
true.
speaking of Kenobi.
So who wants
You
to
just say hello there.
who wants to start talking like about Kenobi? How do we feel about it so far? 2 episodes in.
Do you mind? Do you mind if I went first?
Go ahead.
Or does anyone else have more pressing?
No, go
Because really,
ahead.
mine is like. All I have to say is I'm really enjoying it. Leia needs, or actually, and they need to learn how to make a chase scene.
Spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Don't worry.
If you haven't seen
First 2 episodes.
the first 2 episodes, you probably should have watched them by this point, because we will talk
Spoilers.
at least some spoilers, I presume.
I'm not going to talk
Anything
about
from the first 2
everything.
episodes on the table, basically.
Yeah.
And even then,
Yeah, I
nothing's
think
all
that's
too
fair.
surprising. I think we know how it's going to end, at least. We don't know any of the twists as far as that's concerned. Like, we know that Obi-Wan's going to survive. We don't know
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
if he and
given.
Annie... We don't know if he and Annie are going to fight. That one's still up in the air.
Yeah, which I'm kind of concerned about how they're going to handle.
Or if they're going to. I am...
Yeah.
So anyway, you're enjoying it, but
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Leia's actually a pretty fun character, all things considered.
She is very Leia, and that's appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like if I were to watch a show that had a 10-year-old Leia in it, this is like the perfect execution almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like one of the first things I really noted when she appeared on screen, and after just a few scenes, it definitely was like, yep, if there was one way to do it, they're doing this really well.
And she does carry a lot of Padme, which is an interesting correlation, considering she has no idea she's a thing. And also Rip cousin.
Yeah. And here we thought Owen Lars was the roast master.
Yeah.
I can't jump up this with that.
That's okay, we're out of time.
Oh, I hate split screen. I hate it. I don't even know if it's split screen's fault, but I'm blaming it.
Dude, imagine if this were just Mario Kart.
Well, not on this console.
What would it be?
You mean Sonic Team
what-
Racing for the
Oh, yeah. Oh, we do all have that. And I also saw that FIFA 22 was free, at least for a few more days. Actually, a week, I think. So you guys should really get on that, because that'd be a really stupid game night for us.
FIFA, the most exciting game in the world, and about a subject I know a lot about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's football or soccer.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would be that exciting because it would just be us going, okay, let's see here. So we're supposed to do this, and then and our characters would just do a tiny little kick of the ball, and it would maybe go 3 inches. I'm like, oh, so just like it would be in real life. Awesome.
Who's the main character in soccer again?
This one with the lowest
the ball.
Is it the guy that's on the box or? So do FIFA cover athletes also have the like FIFA curse or something?
I don't think
Or
there's a
is it-
FIFA curse the way there's a Mad curse.
A mad curse?
Madden curse.
Yeah, so every cover athlete for the Madden games of that year has always gotten like an injury, and they're usually either out for the season or out for a very good chunk of the season.
Interesting.
It's frightening, actually. Ever since they dropped John Madden from the cover, I think 2002, 2001.
So anyway, Kenobi.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Right. I'm glad I went in super pessimistically because I had my expectations destroyed because I really enjoyed it.
That's always good.
Yeah.
I think more people need to go into things that way.
Honestly, yeah. And I don't really know specifically about the things that Lewis was worried about, but I am gonna assume they're about the same as I know you had, Prentice. I believe. So how do you feel so far?
So far, I think it's pretty good. There's still a lot of ways that this could go wrong based on certain story material, and I'm already kind of gone, wait a minute, on a couple of things, which I'll touch on here in a moment. But so I mean, it's early. I'm enjoying it so far, but they still have 4 episodes to completely screw it up. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they don't do that.
I think I know the part you're referencing. End of episode 2, or actually, yes, end of episode 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
figured that
that's-
would be one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think
so,
that's
yeah,
a bait and switch, unless they're completely forgetting that show. Which
I think it is too. But I think really my biggest complaint is, ironically, see, and you're gonna have to stick with me because you're gonna go, huh? It's like, I think my biggest complaint is actually Leia herself.
really,
And yeah, because
not the,
I think
not the chase scene.
okay, see, and yeah, it's like the chase scenes weren't the most well choreographed, but it's like that's not really a huge deal. I think that there are a couple line deliveries from her. It's like, yeah, she's a child actor, but then there's others where she just absolutely nails it. So overall, she's doing a really, really good job. But it's just every now and then it's like, that could have been done better. But it's really not a huge deal. And so if that's my biggest complaint, then I think we're doing pretty good so far with the show. With the exception, of course, the big thing at the end of episode 2 is that it looks like the Grand Inquisitor dies, which doesn't make any sense considering he dies at the end of the first season of Rebels, which it takes place like years after this point. Yeah. So it's like this, what? So I agree with Daxter. I think it's a bait and switch. I think he's probably going to be in Bacta for like the rest of the season, and
I don't think Bacta. I think it's going to be like a clone, decoy, something. Bacta's. They already did that with Boba Fett's tome. So
It's just a flesh.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, they did it. They did it with Boba, but then but it's like, but Book of Boba Fett. I mean, they went into detail about how Fennec Shand was resurrected, and it's like, oh, okay. And then of course at the end of the Book of Boba Fett, you've got Cobb Vanth and Bacta. So it's like, does death mean anything anymore? Which is a whole other thing that we could complain about, but that's almost a Star Wars as a whole at this point, rather than
I'm just gonna
death is not. Oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna repeat, like, basically how Star Wars, anything that's dumb, anything that's super dumb is fair game now, thanks to thanks.
The dead speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks to the dead
Somehow they
speak and
return
somehow
in the meantime.
Palpatine returned. Yeah, like so anything's fair game at this point, really, in terms of utter
Yeah.
stupidity and really odd stuff. But I hope there won't be too much of that.
Yeah,
Going
I think the Grand Inquisitor is probably just that was just supposed to be a shock thing, and he is going to be put into Bacta, or they're going to clone him or something. And it'd be funny though if they clone him and like the clone turns out to be imperfect and he looks more like his cartoon counterpart.
That'd be cool. That'd be
And
funny.
it's like, oh, so these complaints that you guys had on the internet about him not looking right, that was on purpose. So you were really complaining for nothing. So I don't know if that's exactly, we'll see. We'll find out
doubt
Friday,
it.
probably. But yeah, I don't think that's actually the way they're going. I think, and honestly, the more I saw him actually moving around on screen and stuff, I'm like, you know what? This is a good translation from animation to
D-pad.
live action.
You can use the D-pad, Lewis, to change the R2, and that
Oh,
should.
I thought you were R2. Whoopsie. Let's see. How do I get out? There we go.
I suppose
He-Man.
that could also just be a way of kind of keeping him out
Okay.
for a chunk of the story, considering
Mm-hmm.
how
And Lewis, I'll take care of the share play. Don't worry.
the
Sure.
relation between I forget her name or which sister.
Sister.
Yeah, the first sister. That's definitely gonna be one of the main antagonists of the show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, and considering it, like, from the first scene, it's very clear that, okay, yeah, she does not have a good standing with these other Inquisitors, so maybe...
It seems like she's even been brought in late, so like she
Yeah.
hasn't been around for more than maybe a couple years at most, where all these other guys have been working under Vader for like a decade at this point,
Yeah.
immediately after Revenge of the Sith. So
And it sounds like, considering, well, they're all Jedi, right? Or previous
former Jedi, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. Either she was like a Force-sensitive nothing at the beginning, before they found her. That's what it seems like they're implying she was.
She's one of the younglings from the Jedi Temple.
No, they said they picked her up off the gutter specifically, like off the streets maybe.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is that, she and her little youngling clan escape, and she ends up being like the only one that ends up surviving for any period of time, and then the Inquisitors find her later, and they're like, well, instead of killing her, we could probably use her, and so they find her, and so she has some prior training because of that.
Yeah.
Well, why would she hate Kenobi? That's the issue.
And so I'm sure that we'll get that explained.
Oh,
I don't think she hates Kenobi.
speaking of
Insane.
Kenobi and such, I'm running around in the on Tatooine because obviously I'm gonna do that when we're talking
where are you?
Kenobi.
Where are you?
In the
let's meet up
Jundland
at-
Wastes.
let's
I'm
meet up
talking
at-
to this green astromech droid called R2A6, and I'm just gonna read what is saying. Oh, old Ben, such a quiet, gentle soul. He lives up on the high ground, overlooking the canyons.
Oh my god.
You bet he does. So when SharePlay disconnects, Lewis, all you'll need to I'll just get you a new invite. That is how this. I don't know why it's an hour time limit. It's dumb.
Weird.
Yeah. It's definitely weird. But also,
And I don't.
going back to whoever said that she might be one of the younglings. That does seem very likely, considering the series literally opens with the Jedi Temple being attacked by the clones and during Order 66, and we see younglings fleeing, which I'm sure was Daxter's favorite scene.
Oh, I loved it. I've seen it so many times, I just don't care. It seems like a cliche at this point to start with, to have Jedi Temple.
Yeah, I got kind of.
It's like, I've seen it enough. You don't.
Yeah.
The meme's
More
not
Star
funny
Wars.
anymore. Talk about Morbius, then you'll have my attention.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
You're one of the reasons we're going to eventually get a sequel to that.
Yeah. Thanks,
I'm not joking.
Internet.
Yeah, because I saw a thing today.
No, it is not real. It is not real. It is not real.
Okay.
Well, it is gonna be real.
I just saw a thing today that based on internet traffic, Morbius is the most talked about movie on the internet this year. Not
that might be real, but the sequel thing was not.
Yeah, no, I hadn't seen anything about an actual sequel being developed or worked on yet, but you know, if the executives are looking at algorithms like, man, people really talked about that last one, who cares if the sequel's any good? They'll at least talk about it again and go see it.
I know people who don't like superhero stuff saying it's Morbin time, so
it is Morbin time.
It's always Morbin.
Tusken Raiders. To kill!
What types are you killing?
Tusken Raiders.
Okay. Huh.
Well, but what type?
Specific, like,
They're Tusken Raiders. They're all the same to Vader.
Oh.
Even the men and the women and the children too.
Not just the men, but the women and children too. Yeah.
I think that's what Lewis was trying to go.
Yeah, I realized that now. It's just me being too slow.
I like to meme. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So, Cantina Band or Max Rebo?
Cantina Band.
Obviously.
You guys have no class.
I don't know where all this appreciation for Max Rebo suddenly came from.
He's one of those obscure background characters people have secretly loved for years just because they know his name. So he shows up in the Book of Boba Fett, and then everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, he's back!"
I know.
You live.
Yeah, it
only
does
to maybe
kinda...
get blown up later again.
Oh, true.
People like skimmed that scene frame by frame, going, "Well, I don't see him here." He had the night off, coincidentally.
Yeah.
No, the Pike Syndicate were like, "Hey, don't go to the sanctuary."
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, even that's poor. Ooh.
Speaking of poor timing and opening a series with younglings on their life-threatening conditions, I'm also enjoying Kenobi so far. Oh boy, lots of explosions going off.
Dude, this video's gonna get demonetized, and we're not even trying to.
Well, good thing.
With the Star Wars music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it so far. I'm especially appreciating that at least in the first episode they were not afraid to take things slowly, to really to really focus on how, like, where Obi-Wan is at this point of the story and his life, where he you can tell that him having to go up against Anakin really put like some, I don't know if trauma is putting it maybe at slightly too big.
I think that fits.
Yeah,
I mean, because this is a kid that his master entrusted him to train.
Yeah.
He basically raised him, felt that he was his brother, and then he thinks that he killed him on a volcanic moon and left him to burn to death. So I mean, I don't think it gets any less traumatic than that, really.
That's true. And also the fact, like, not only that they take the time, but of course this feels like, I don't know, the most obvious say in regards to the prequel trilogy is that Ewan McGregor's performance as younger Obi-Wan has always been a highlight, and He's great in this one as well. I mean, he doesn't even have to speak sometimes to really showcase some of that pain that Obi-Wan is feeling. Like, it's so great in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying to turn down?
I was trying to do the little... There was like an Easter egg in the original LEGO Star Wars where if you turned off the music, the Cantina band would stop playing.
No, they don't do that here. I've seen MythBuster videos where it's like that does not happen here, unlike in the complete saga.
Wow, I'm disappointed, man. At least they say it's Morbin time in Morbius.
I thought you were gonna say in this game. At least
okay. Real talk. Does he actually say that in the movie? Because
he doesn't.
Because I feel like we're in this weird dilemma where
I don't know what's real anymore.
Where everyone is memeing it, but no one has seen the movie, and therefore no one knows if he's even said that line.
No, he does not say it's Morbin time. I always took that as a joke. Because it's so close to copyright infringement, it's not even funny.
But this is also the same movie that had a trailer where they had three different versions of Spider-Man kind of squished into one thing, where these like elements of three different Spider-Man squished into one thing, and then at the end he goes, "I am Venom." Yeah, just kidding. Dr. Michael Morbius at your service, and then they cut it from the final film. So it's like, who knows with that movie. And then the end credit scene got patched. Where originally, if you went to see it when it came out, Vulture's talking about Spider-Man. Then they ended up patching it to where he doesn't mention Spider-Man at all because everyone hated it so much.
Yep.
Oh yeah, remember that now.
Yeah. So. Honestly, people being unsure whether or not he actually says it's Morbin time. I can totally see them legitimately questioning that because of all the other crazy things going on with this train wreck of a movie. So anyway, Kenobi.
Yeah.
Male Inquisitor, is he supposed to be the one from Rebels, or is he just
which one?
The Grand Inquisitor.
No, the other.
The fifth brother. Yes, yeah.
Oh man, they really missed the mark on that.
Yeah, I think his design is good, but he's like 2 feet too small to really be. He really got roided out between Kenobi and Rebels. That's all we can say, I guess. Because he's like a behemoth. He's definitely the muscle in Rebels, and then he's like actually smaller than the Grand Inquisitor in Kenobi. So it's like, oh wow, dude, did you shrink in the wash? What happened?
Yeah.
That's not Han. That's not Han.
What do you mean?
Listen to that.
You wanted to be Harrison Ford?
A little.
I guess that's not Luke then. 94.
I need to watch the OT again. It's been ages, man. I replay games. I do not rewatch movies.
That seems weird considering the time investment.
Yeah,
comparatively.
I know.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like 3 movies or a 40-hour video game.
I don't replay 40 hours. I generally replay stuff like Resident Evil 4, which I know my routes. I know how I'm going to play it generally, and I change up the variables now and then.
That's fair.
Yeah, that makes more sense, yeah.
Super Mario 64, you get the gist.
Like, the original Modern Warfare trilogy, that's one for me, like, every couple of years I always go back to. It's like, alright, time to go through these again.
Yeah, and I know how I'm going to play. I know what's coming up.
Yeah, it's me with Arkham, I guess.
Yeah, or like there's so many games, if you know what you're going to be doing.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Did you mute yourself?
No.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you were going to continue on, that you just stopped.
No,
so.
I cannot remember what I was going to say. Listen, I tried doing the new Destiny 2 dungeon last night with some friends of mine after I went to a party. No booze was involved, thankfully, or else it would have been even worse. But I'm tired. we only got past the first encounter, and we were stuck on a puzzle that was literally the answer was right in front of us. We just never figured it out.
But did you look it up after the fact and you went, oh
No.
my gosh? Oh.
No, the only thing I had to look up was the new like raid mechanic. Or dungeon mechanic, whatever you want to call it.
Gotcha.
Which I honestly do love those things where you're trying to figure it out with friends and you're just banging your head against the wall trying to figure out what you need to do, and then it finally clicks, and then you all colloquially go, oh yeah, we're idiots.
Interesting.
Which I guess does FF14 have raids?
Yeah, it does have raids and mechanics and stuff. But they're not like puzzles, I'd say. They're just like figure out how to deal with it, and then move on to the next one, which is like 10 seconds after. And then you do it in like a huge gauntlet. And yeah.
Yeah, we got like puzzles, like jumping puzzles, some combat encounters where you have to juggle just like any other raid. You have to juggle like a bunch of ads. And then you've got your what was I gonna say? Then you got like some puzzles that require callouts while having to deal with some action. Like the recent raid that dropped. That's like, I want to say something like 16 different symbols.
Oh.
And they're all kind of obtuse looking, even though they do actually give you what the names are, if you stand by them. But considering one of my favorite ones, I like to call Libra, even though it looks like a snake. Or Duck Dynasty Bird. Like it gets weird. It'll make sense. I need to show you some of them. They're amazing.
Can you switch characters in the overworld?
You should be.
Up on the D-pad.
I did, tried to select Ahsoka, but...
Yeah, it's a little wonky that way.
Yeah, the UI in LEGO Star Wars is not great.
Yeah.
So... Nope, didn't work. Okay, Ahsoka, and then we press X, or...
Hang on, I've got Ahsoka. Let me...
So, do we have any other thoughts on the Kenobi series?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to wait and see if they're just gonna break a lot of canon just for like entertaining content. Like, I guess they've already done that with like Leia, because she never mentioned Kenobi in the hologram in episode 4, so... Like,
well,
she did. She knew of him, but I'm gonna let that one slide for the time being. I don't know for how long though.
So there is one thing that I saw someone pointing out that actually that might make sense with what's going on with Kenobi, in that when like I agree with the hologram thing, but another moment when Luke comes in and and she does, aren't you a little short for stormtrooper? And he goes, oh, I'm here to rescue you. And then he mentions like Ben Kenobi sent me, and she him and goes with him, and that could be one of those. Oh, because Kenobi.
That could be a better moment, yeah.
Yeah, but I do agree with the hologram one. It's a little. It does get a little odd, but I think that's also the unfortunate reality of Star Wars as a franchise that's been going on for so long and is continuing to go on with so many stories, and especially since we like to revisit a lot of these really big characters.
The biggest thing I was wondering about this whole time is Vader and Anakin, because in episode 4 there's like, last I saw you I was the learner, and episode 3 already made that shaky enough. And
considering Obi-Wan believes that Anakin is dead, which, going back to the Kenobi show, the way the second episode ends and where he learns that, actually, Obi-Wan, Anakin is still alive.
That was a great moment.
Yeah, but like, how does the third sister know who Anakin?
Yeah, that's also a very good question.
It's not impossible. There's people have figured it out. It's like, Vader straight up tells Luke, so it's not like it's a secret, but it's not a secret. It's like Tarkin figured it out. It's like a lot of higher up Imperials that I think Yularen might have known. There's not a whole lot of Yularen content post Clone Wars, except for the fact that we know he dies on the Death Star. So he might have known. I can't quite remember, but
I wouldn't be surprised
so that's
if he
not
did
impossible. That it's not impossible for her to have figured it out, or if maybe it overheard. If she is one of the younglings from the Jedi Temple, if she like overheard clone troopers talking about Lord Vader, and she sees Anakin leading the troops, and then later she's inducted as an Inquisitor, and she meets Lord Vader in the suit. It's like, oh, I know who this is. It's like where it's just kind of a coincidence that she.
Clone would probably call him Lord Vader, something like that.
Yeah, because I wouldn't call him General Skywalker, probably.
Yeah.
Luke needs to be over here.
He does.
Yeah, I'll.
But another thought I had, which I don't think this is the route that they're going to go down, considering the amount of production time that goes into this and the budget. If they were going to do this, it'd be a much smaller project, and it'd be an animated James Arnold Taylor thing. But with the the more than likely bait and switch of the Grand Inquisitor's quote unquote death, what if he is dead? And this show's non-canon, and they start to do a bunch of crazy things, and it's like this is a what-if story. I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna do that, but it is. They haven't really tried that with anything like this before, so it'd be an interesting experiment.
That too, because that's how they could do a Vader fight feasibly,
Yeah, it's like we know people want to see this, but we know it conflicts with canon. So we'll make this, and then just make things so like at the end of the show, Obi-Wan actually kills Vader, and it's like, okay, this is definitely not canon.
Yeah.
And it's like he goes back to raise Luke, and it's like this is an Elseworlds. This is a what if show.
And another hint would be Uncle Owen breaking Luke's toy, but even though we see it in episode 4.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, is something going to happen in between this and the last episode where Owen comes around and he does fix the toy and give it back to Luke? Because honestly, if this is a what if show, then that's really our first instance of this is not canon because the toy gets broken. Which would be interesting to watch in hindsight. Again, I don't think that's actually the direction they're going in.
Yeah,
but,
I doubt it. But I would be all for going for something like that, since Star Wars is such a big franchise, and if Marvel can do it, I don't see why Star Wars couldn't do it.
Well, but the thing with Marvel though is they actually canon those what ifs are canon because they're in different alternate universes.
Yeah, that's true.
So, where Star Wars only has the one timeline that the EU notwithstanding, so I don't know, but they typically have their act to get. It's like the most honestly I hate going down this road time and time again. But the most egregious, quote unquote, affront to canon really is the way that the sequel trilogy was just kind of haphazardly thrown together, and the movies not really lining up or making sense when you watch 7 to 8 and 8 to 9. I think you can go 7 to 8 pretty easily, but you go 8 to 9 and it's like, wait a second, this feels a little weird. So it's like, that is like the most egregious example of they don't have their act together here. But other than that, everything else has been pretty much not perfect but I mean,
it's pretty much decent.
It's been good.
Yeah, it's been mostly consistent.
Yeah. Which is better than the EU, where we had no less than 3 different stories about how they got the Death Star plans. So,
and which one's real?
Exactly. So it's there's always weird stuff like that. So and especially given, it's like, I don't know how much you guys have seen from Celebration, but like all the stuff going on with the Ahsoka show and everything, it's like, it's like this worry about Rebels being decanonized or something. It's like the opposite of what's happening, because if anything, they're leaning into Rebels more and more, as this is essential Star Wars most people probably need to see for a lot of things going forward to make sense, because of the stuff that's come out of that panel and characters that are going to be used and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially with Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, more so Mando, but I know that's Luke. That's Luke. It's not an actual. Yeah. Yeah. How many do you think were really weirded out by Ahsoka being a thing? Oh.
I mean, like casual people that didn't know who she was beforehand, or okay. It's I mean, I don't know if they really.
What's an Ahsoka?
I don't know if
what's a dork blade? What's that?
I don't know if they were weirded out. I think to them it was just new, and then they have all the people or they go on the internet and they're like, oh, what are people thinking about this? And they read and they're like, oh wait, this is an established thing already. Oh, I'm really missing out. And they either stay confused and just watch Mandalorian, or they catch up and they watch Clone Wars and Rebels and everything.
Yeah. I used to think of Mandalorian as like the approachable Star Wars show for anyone that doesn't even like the movies to watch.
Yep.
But now, no.
Yeah, no, season 1 was that way, but then after that, it's like, I mean, that last scene in season 1 of Mando where Gideon gets out of the crash TIE fighter with the Darksaber, it's like, all right, we're going down a different road. It's all all aboard the nerd train.
Yeah. Beep, beep. And I've said this a lot. Like, I think probably here, but I really don't like that they keep bringing back old stuff just to bring it back, like a lot in Bad Batch and stuff. And yeah, I don't know.
So Bad Batch is interesting because Bad Batch is like one of the few things where they actually released a trailer from Celebration on YouTube, and it wasn't kept secret at the convention itself. So we know a lot of what is going to be coming in Bad Batch season 2. That has not just been what people have been saying from the panel that were there live that witnessed it. Is that we actually have a trailer with actual footage. It's like, oh,
what is happening? I have no idea.
So it seems like we're getting Ian McDiarmid back as Palpatine, which is cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, at least for like one episode, if not maybe more, because there's a new voice line from him that we've never heard in anything before, and it's definitely him. And Palpatine is physically on screen. We are also getting more returning characters from Clone Wars coming back. Cody's coming back.
Interesting.
That we're also getting Gunji, which is the Wookiee Jedi from the Youngling arc from season 5.
Oh, he's dead.
No, he's not dead. He's very much alive because he's in the trailer.
I mean, he's going to die.
I mean, potentially. I wouldn't put it past them, but yeah, he's there. We're getting more Scorch from Republic Commando.
And did they bring him? Did he give him a voice line or just an appearance?
Not in the trailer, but we see him, and they do lingering shots on him, which is definitely why are you lingering on this guy that is so obviously Scorched for so long? So it seems like that he maybe has something. Who knows?
I'm sorry.
One of the clones from Bad Batch was Scorch, and I didn't really see how they said that, but a lot of people were saying that. So.
Like he was actually the character, or
it was actually the character. I don't know. That's what I heard.
No. I mean, there were people that were drawing comparisons between Wrecker and Scorch because they're the demolition expert heavies of their respective squads, and they're kind of based on the same character archetype. But they're not. Yeah, no. There's. And because Tech and Fixer, they're based on the same archetype. Boss is the leader, and then Sev and
Crosshair are
and Crosshair
actually
are the lone,
the ones who get
lone wolf
split up,
snipers.
yeah.
And they're the
who
ones that get split up from their
Yeah,
squad.
that too.
So I mean, there's
And-
similarities and
yeah.
archetypes you can draw between them, but they're not the same. They're not the same characters by a long shot.
Gotcha.
And I'd argue that I know. I mean, from what little we know of Republic Commando 2, it sounded like Sev was going to be a rebel, right?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
So,
if
I mean,
anything,
kind of ironic
he's
that
the
they-
opposite of
Yeah.
Crosshair.
I don't know if it was poetry or just whoops, that happened. That's odd.
I think it's a coincidence. I don't even think it's like poetry. It rhymes. I think it's all. I think that's just
Yeah.
kind of a
Gotta
interesting
give them
coincidence.
something to
Yay!
Yeah.
But you know I see some of that stuff. I don't think is bringing old stuff back just to bring old stuff back. I think because if Bad Batch is a 2-season show, a 3-season show, what have you, I think Bad Batch is going to because we have the 7 seasons of Clone Wars and then we have Bad Batch. I think when you kind of look at it, it's like they are going to be 2 distinct shows, but they're going to make like one whole package where there's opportunities to start, because the Clone Wars did kind of start some arcs and introduce some characters and drop them, whether or not that was purposeful or was due to the untimely cancellation and they were planning on
Nice.
doing some stuff with that later. Because like the big one that I always look back on is like you seeded more for this and never went back to this was the Zillo Beast.
Yeah, that's one
It's like-
I was thinking of when I rewatched Clone Wars ahead of
Yeah,
season
because the
7.
episode
Like,
ends with Palpatine saying to Dr. Bull, it's like, I have your next assignment. She goes, you want me to clone the beast? And he looks evilly at the camera, and then ba-da-da-da-da-da, and we never hear from the Zillo Beast or that doctor lady again. But then at the end of season 1 of the Bad Batch, as revealed through the concept art, that facility that Nala Se is brought to is Mount Tanatus, or I can't remember how to pronounce it. Mount Tantus or something like that. Which in the Heir to the Empire trilogy, the original Thrawn trilogy from the EU, that was basically a big storehouse where Palpatine kept all sorts of secret Sith stuff, including cloning equipment and stuff like that. So bringing in Nala Se to work on some of this genetics projects at this site could lead into Rise of Skywalker, but also could bring back the Zillo Beast and explain where Dr. Bull's been this entire time. It's like, oh, she's been here working on the Zillo Beast, since season 2 of Clone Wars, and so it's so I find that interesting that we might, we finally, it's been over a decade and we finally get back to this story arc that seemed like it was never intended to be completed or was unfortunately abandoned or something like that, or they're like, well, we've got this, we'll get back to it on a rainy day, because for instance, like it seems like they liked doing the Zillo Beast art because Dave Filoni is a huge Godzilla fan, so the fact that George Lucas let him do a Godzilla episode, he was very appreciative of, but it was such a technical hassle, especially at that point in their production cycle, where they're like, yeah, we did it, we're happy with that, but we're not. It seems like the way Filoni talks, like, yeah, we weren't necessarily chomping at the bit to go back and do more Zillo Beast stuff just because of what a challenge it was to animate and render something on that scale. So it's like, I don't think we're going to get, the Zillo Beast 3 technically, because of course the second episode was called The Zillo Beast Strikes Back, as if it were the sequel. So we're not going to get Return of the Zillo. I don't think we're going to exactly get Return of the Zillo Beast, but it's like, showing where that doctor lady went and like showing is like some of the effects, like maybe she has taken like the. Because, I mean, the Zillo Beasts, it seemed like they were intelligent, they could live a really long time, they were almost indestructible. I mean, they had to use a poison gas to finally kill it. So it's like maybe she took some of its genetics to work.
Oh yeah, there's the training.
Into Palpatine clone. So who knows? I think I, at the very least, had questions about the younglings from that one arc, It's like, hey, what happened? What happened to those younglings? Did they get murderized? Did they survive? It's like I'm curious to know what happened to them. And it's like, and we got like little cameos of them afterward, like in Yoda's vision in season 6, and they were training at the Jedi Temple when Anakin and Bear fought in season 5. But we don't really know what
they use assets.
Exactly, and and that's what it was for. Is that it was to reuse assets, but it was still cool. Hey, it's returning characters, but to actually explore what happened to like Jedi younglings, and it's like what about some that did escape? It's like, and we've got Kanan, we've got Cal Kestis, we've got it seems like maybe the third sister's probably going to be one of those as well. But it's like, what about in the immediate aftermath, the early days, the first months of the Empire? What are these kids doing? Because mostly we just like immediately skip forward, and it's like, all right, they've been on the run for decades at this point. So it's like to see like the immediate aftermath of what they're doing. Are they trusting people? Are they like, what are they doing? I think that could be interesting, especially if like Gunji, the one that can't talk, is like the only one that survived. I mean, they could do something with that. It's like, because I think, and this could be a way to work Hondo back into it. It's like, if Katuni survived, does she go to like live with Uncle Hondo on Florham or something? Because they kind of seem to have like a little bit of a, not father-daughter, but some sort of parental
dynamic
relationship from the dynamic. That's a good way to put it. Thank you, Lewis. From their brief interactions in like the last episode of the Younglings arc. So it's like, I mean, that maybe would be a good place for her to bug out to. It's like, did she try to bring her friends? So it's I don't know. I'm kind of just down for anything Star Wars related as long as it's not anime.
What?
Because we're also getting a season 2 of Star Wars Visions. That's cool for people that like Visions, but yeah. That's cool for people that like Visions. I watched like the one episode. I'm like, okay, this isn't for me, but it's cool that this exists. So,
although apparently, based from what I've seen, apparently Volume 2 of Visions won't be strictly anime, as in Japanese animation. They will actually have, I think, British and Spanish something. And something else that I don't remember. So that could be like, okay, they're not just doing more to my liking then. They're not just doing you liked Star Wars anime, I have more Star Wars anime. They're actually doing something a little bit in a similar vein, but with other
that's cool
stuff. So that might be.
I hope they are doing that.
Yeah, that might be a little more interesting. But I guess we didn't really see anything from that either.
Nope.
So that's also gonna be a wait and see. I mean, I watched all of them, of the Volume 1. I don't think I'll ever rewatch them, but they were neat for what they were going for, I feel.
Yeah, the trailer was enough for me. Like I saw like
very anime.
Yeah, because like the one where it's like the lightsaber umbrella type looking thing that's spun, it's like, okay, that's very anime, that's kind of cool, but yeah, so I'm fine with it just in this 1 minute and 45-second trailer. I don't need a full 20-minute short of this. That being said, of course I critique that. I'm sorry, Lewis. I just 1 second. I critique that and go, that's kind of anime. That's a little too much out there. And yet we've got helicopter lightsabers with the Inquisitors.
Yeah,
so it's like,
that is true.
That's a little bit of a. Yeah, I mean, Rebels kind of beat the actual anime to the punch there with ridiculous lightsabers. So sorry, Lewis. I
not just the helicopter blades, but just Ezra's lightsaber. At all, being lightsaber and blaster in one. Like, how does that work?
It just does, except it's Star Wars. So
Rebels, the ghost.
Oh yeah, so I don't know. One thing I really liked, I guess, the kind of over the topness was kind of what they wanted to be. Like, like not just like something that you'd see in anime, but like something that they were gonna try and go for. Like, I don't know. Like, just trying to be as creative and as out there as possible. Yeah. One thing I liked was, like, recognizing all the anime studios that worked on it. like Studio Trigger, they did the one with the siblings, and they're known for like their animation style, where everything's like super colorful, flashy, and fast, stuff like that. And like seeing them implement that in their animation style was like awesome and cool. Like a big highlight for me, honestly. But yeah, it's pretty much why I liked it. Just seeing like the variety, I guess. Yeah. So basically,
I'm sorry,
just very anime.
Yeah. Was that a keyboard cat?
Oh my god, was that again?
I think there is a keyboard cat joke in the game. Yes.
That's
Like that creature from episode 2.
Yeah, the keyboard Nexu. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Wow.
man, that is an old meme. I don't even know if you call it that.
These days are gonna
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah, that one was for the older kids in the room for sure.
Yeah.
By older kids, I mean us.
Yeah. Mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now.
Hey, what do you call Tatooine with above average vision?
No, you don't. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, back at the hangar, you killed me twice and said oops, sorry on the second one.
Eyes. Yeah.
I found that funny.
Wait.
If I don't find some good new jokes soon, the boss is gonna boil me. What good's a jester that can't entertain? That ain't a joke.
No intruders here. Everything's okay.
Me. It's a bit dead out here, but doesn't
Oh.
Mos Eisley should have its fix.
What the heck are we supposed to do?
Jokers to steal gags from.
Or just break everything.
Break.
Wait, are you on the detention level?
Keep your comms turned
We're not there yet.
and listen in.
Oh,
I'll let
okay.
you know.
Because I
I don't
thought I
think
remembered
so.
I thought I remembered the keyboard cat being in one of the monitors on the detention level on like
It wasn't on the
security cams.
it wasn't on the detention level. It was on the
The security place where
yeah. It was
Ah,
on the
okay.
in the hangar.
Okay, all right.
Here, maybe move this back.
Huh?
You can move that too.
Oh, I thought that was where we were supposed to move it to.
Oh, there are
Great dragon skeleton.
4 dragon skeletons.
Great dragon skeleton, yeah.
Oh, hello, great dragon skeleton.
I'm so confused.
It's a viewer.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
not that.
Here.
No, I found a great dragon skeleton on Tatooine.
Oh.
With a thermal
Hang on.
Get
detonator.
studs.
Yeah. And also trying to get this Kyber brick.
Hey, how did you get past the wall?
I platformed up to the second floor.
Oh, that's what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
We were supposed to connect it to something like the old game, I guess.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that. That's me. Know which trooper you're supposed to be shooting at.
I don't know why I thought punching would be a good idea.
I mean, it's generally a good idea in a Lego game. Just punch the
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, just break everything.
When in doubt, punch everything.
Yeah.
Here, no scope. Hang on.
It's so slow.
So it was kind of briefly mentioned, but of course celebration just happened.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
how much did we watch from that? I mean, we talked about it a little bit before you got here, Loka, but you can chime in, obviously.
I haven't seen really anything aside from some of the trailers they put up, like Bad Batch Season 2 and and Jedi Survivor. Don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Did they put out anything more? I feel like that
Nope.
was the only. And the
sorry.
rest, yeah, and the rest was just exclusive if you were there, because that's a good
yeah,
idea.
which is stupid. Yeah, I don't understand why they did that. So
look at
I
the
didn't really
monitor,
watch.
Lois. Look at the monitor whenever you shoot this.
What?
So yeah, I didn't really watch anything either because of that. It was real stupid. I'm like, I can't believe they. It's like, why? I mean, because remember in 2019 Loka when we played Battlefront 2, and then we're like, oh hey, the Clone Wars panel starts in like 5 minutes, so we just want to stay and call and watch the Clone Wars panel together. It's like that was so much fun getting to do that, and them allowing you to do that, and watching the panels live and everything. It's like even though we weren't able to be there physically in person, we were still able to participate, and it felt like we were still able to participate and see all the fun stuff. But this time they're like, nah. We're gonna close that off, and it's like it was really dumb. I didn't appreciate that at all.
And all it does, I mean, like for real, it doesn't even get to stay exclusive because someone is gonna film that with a crappy camera recorder and put it on.
Yeah, I've seen all the trailers because I've seen all the leaks from various angles multiple times now.
Yeah, and I'm sure Disney wouldn't want you to get your first impression out of say Mando Season 3 from a crappy recorded version of the trailer instead of just putting it out
where
there
you can't
on the
really
internet.
hear much. Yeah, you can't hear much, and the stuff that you maybe can hear is drowned out by the cheering of the crowd, and the images and even
crowd,
well, there was no booing, but it's like you can't even really tell what's going on because some of the shots are overblown because the camera is trying to compensate for the poor lighting in the room because everything's black because they're watching the trailer. So it's like, yeah, it is not optimal, and it's going to leak anyway. So I don't.
This is almost identical to what happened with Marvel's Avengers, the video game.
What happened?
In what way?
So, they didn't talk about anything, and the first bit of information that we got about it was from a leak. Hang on, sorry, I'm like, is that Dengar?
Is that? It might be. It looks like it.
It's just an entire bantha. How do you fit that in there?
The most wanted fugitive.
Oh no! No, negative. Yeah, so what happened? Remember that Avengers event that happened to announce the game? And they showed that pre-rendered some of the pre-rendered cutscenes?
Yeah. Because that was like at Square's E3 or something that year. If I
it
remember
was not.
correctly.
It was its own thing.
Oh, was it its own thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened? Sorry, I need to turn this off real quick. It is actually loud.
Oh.
What happened was they live streamed the event, and they didn't really talk about anything other than it's an Avengers game and you get to feel like an Avenger.
Feel like an Avenger.
And that was it. But behind closed doors, to members of the press, they got to see basically the beta that we played. That first mission.
Right. And then when it was Square's E3, then they showed off that, and the press was like, "Yeah, this is basically what we saw 3 months ago, or whatever." I remember that now.
And everyone was confused on what this thing was.
Yeah.
Was it something in the vein of like Spider-Man, so like a cinematic story
single player game?
But why did you get the multiplayer guy from Gears of War or something? Why is that there? Well, you have all the story stuff. It's live service. And then Peel said, "I'm sold."
Yeah. Sorry, Peel.
That sounds very familiar to when the Fallout 76 got announced as well. They just like showed a trailer, put up pre-orders for it, and kind of selling it as your. It's a new Fallout only, and the only reason we even knew that, it's actually a live service game was because Jason Schreier went like, this is what the game is about that they aren't telling you.
That's right. Yeah, because they sold everyone with because I don't know. I feel like that initial trailer is actually pretty good because it's all the shots of the landscape and it's got country roads playing over it and everything. Yeah. That was actually a pretty good trailer. But
it's only good, but it didn't tell you what kind of game it was.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Aside from a new Fallout game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if them not showing this stuff at Celebration on the live stream is quite the same because people know what's coming. It's just that they're not showing the previews online. So they're just it's not like they're hiding and being vague about what stuff is, because even if the trailers and stuff didn't leak, the people that were there will say in comments, "I was there, I watched it. Here's my YouTube or TikTok video about what I saw and what Tales of the Jedi is going to be," which sounds great, by the way.
What is that? Is that a show or a game?
So it's a mini series that's going to be a series of 6 shorts. Try to say that back to back. That could have almost been a disaster. But so 3 of them will focus on Ahsoka. Surprise, surprise.
So no
but then the other 3 will focus on Count Dooku.
There we go.
And so it's so funny because remember a couple weeks ago we were like, hey, you know what would be fun? A young Count Dooku show. Well, we're getting our young Count Dooku show.
Yeah, they listen to us.
Yeah. So and it's in the Clone Wars animation style, which is awesome.
Oh,
and,
that's cool.
Yes, because this is one of the trailers that I've watched the leaked thing online. It's like, I do not condone piracy, but you know what? I have seen the trailer, and I've read all the information that people reported about online and stuff, and so. And so it's 3 of the shorts are all focusing on young Count Dooku, and it's basically kind of gradually showing him slowly slipping closer and closer to the dark side, because when we meet him in Attack of the Clones for the first time, he's just already evil. There is, we hear that, he was once a Jedi and he left the Order for whatever convoluted reasons that they don't explain except in books later on. But we don't see him act as a Jedi, so that, this show will show us some of what he's like as a Jedi. So Corey Burton, of course, returning to do his Christopher Lee impression, not a surprise there. He's always great at it. But then also we're going to get Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon Jinn.
I heard.
Oh, yes.
And then we will also get Liam Neeson's son as young Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because Liam Neeson has told this story before in interviews where talking about the impact of Star Wars and everything, and why, despite people not liking Phantom Menace, he's really proud of that movie and the fact that he got to be a Jedi and everything he thinks is so cool. Is that when he was filming Phantom Menace, his son was like 3 years old at the time, maybe not even that, and he was visiting his dad on set as they were filming, and they were like filming a lot of the Naboo scenes, so R2 was there and everything, and R2 was just parked and and turned off and everything, and this 3-year-old who had never seen anything Star Wars before, because it had been almost it'd been like 20 years almost since the last movie had come out. He hadn't really seen anything Star Wars before. He just sees R2 leaned up against a wall, turned off with his remote control sitting right next to him, while the prop operators were getting lunch or something, and he was immediately just taken with the design of R2. It's like, this is cool, this is special, and Liam Neeson has never forgotten that. So it's interesting. I'm pretty sure it's the same kid. So it's interesting now the kid's grown up and now he's playing the younger version of his father's character. So it's that's cool. That's kind of cool. That's really cool. And I don't know if he's actually an actor professionally, or if this is just hey, you sound like your dad when he was a lot younger, do the part for us, please. And he's like, oh, okay. So we'll see how that turns out. So yeah, that seems really cool. One of them is going to have Mace Windu in it. So young Mace Windu and young Count Dooku interacting and doing stuff. That's going to be interesting to see, considering it's like how Mace Windu, what his attitude is like, clashing with what Dooku's attitude is like. It's going to be a bunch of very stoic grumbling from the two of them while they do awesome things, showing no effort.
Do you speak basic?
Nerf herder.
Yes. Say what
nerf
again? I
herder.
dare
Do
you.
you speak nerf herder? No, do you speak basic nerf herder?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. So.
Also, a little bit of a funny coincidence going back to the younger Dooku and
Young Neeson.
young Qui-Gon is that I've actually been reading Master and Apprentice lately.
Oh, it's such a good book.
I'm really,
I've heard good things about it.
I'm really liking it. It's so good. I think I'm getting kind of close to the end, and yeah, I'm just really. Like, the more I learn about Qui-Gon, the more fascinating I think his character is.
Oh, he's such a great character.
And it's like...
Dooku too.
Yeah, Dooku too.
Yeah, Dooku too.
Right here.
It's so weird because, like, only watching the movies, I didn't really get, like, necessarily a great impression of them as characters. They were kind of just, oh, it's Obi-Wan's master, and Dooku is the
and his
leader of the Separatists.
It's Obi-Wan's master. Yeah. It's Obi-Wan's master and Obi-Wan's grandmaster.
Yeah. And then, like, seeing how things unfold in the Clone Wars and now Master and Apprentice is just, man, these are characters that definitely need more space in Star Wars media.
Yeah. Another one of those reasons why I say Star Wars at this point works better as a TV show than movies.
The movies, yeah.
Because even with the trilogy, those characters weren't completely well. I mean, they were. You can fleshed out. That's a better word than developed, because they were developed characters, but they just weren't given time to be fleshed out completely.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm definitely in agreement to that point of I feel at this point Star Wars definitely works better as a televised episode storytelling instead of movies, and that kind of makes things a little bittersweet considering George Lucas tried for so long to make a Star Wars TV series, and
he did,
and it took the sequel trilogy and the Solo movie not being very, I don't know, super
well received.
Yeah, I was gonna say not so successful, but I mean the sequel trilogy definitely made the bank. So I don't really know how to put it, but I think you can get what I'm trying to get. That it does seem that now it seems that even Disney themselves seems to think that serialized storytelling is really what Star Wars is about these days. I mean, how many movies are coming out compared to how many Star Wars series are coming out? It's wild. And just a few years ago, there was just all these different movies that were supposed to come out.
Yeah, it's going to be movie. Yeah, and then now it's show.
Yeah.
Now,
with like
we did get
a few occasional movies. Sometimes
we did get confirmation from Kathleen Kennedy that the next movie we're going to get is Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie, and that is going to be coming out next year, evidently.
What's it about? Do we know? Oh, sorry.
We know absolutely nothing. We do not know what it's about. We don't. We have a December release date based on when Disney updates their catalog of release dates on the occasion, but we don't really have anything more than that. So
we
know he's directing it. We know it's coming out in December of next year. At this point, I'm doubtful because it's like, okay, so it's May of 2022, and this movie is supposed to be in theaters by December of 2023, and we have heard nary a peep, and he's been busy with other stuff like Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, I don't know if this movie is coming out when they say it is, but let's be wrong.
Well, you could be right, and the movie be rushed to heck and not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
which
would
we
be
don't
bad.
want, and
Yeah.
I don't think they want, and I don't think they want to do that either, because that was the issue with episode 9, is that they should have probably delayed it and made sure that the script was really locked down tight instead of.
And moved it to Disney Plus if they were smart.
Oh.
No, that it
It was COVID, dude.
Okay,
I'm
see
talking,
now
I'm talking,
that is an unintentional. That is an interesting wrinkle. There is that they would have delayed it, going, okay, we need to make sure to get the story right here, and then COVID would have struck. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Okay, stop me if you've heard this one. What do you call?
So yeah, that is an interesting wrinkle. But in that case,
pure
then
accidental.
yeah, I don't think if they had done that, then I don't think episode 9 would have come out until like this year. They would have I think rather waited. Probably instead, because you can't end the Skywalker saga with a Disney Plus release of your movie. No matter how good it is. Yeah, no matter how good it is, that's just like there under no circumstances does this happen unless like the outside world is irradiated or something.
Yeah.
It's like that is like the only. I feel like that is the only way they could do that, but that's not what happened, so we don't have to worry about that hypothetical.
Somehow.
Oh, button.
Just jump out. No.
But okay, so another trailer they did release from Celebration was the trailer for Andor.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I had to, and just I'm like, oh yeah, Andor. Duh.
You have no reason to remember it.
Out of all of the characters to get a side story,
I think he's ripe for a side story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
that just seems-
especially. Honestly, like it being about Andor is. I mean, that's fine enough by itself, but I think everything else surrounding it seems actually more interesting. With, I mean, it seems like we are actually gonna see how the Imperial Senate is working.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ooh. Oh, okay. So not work.
Well, I mean, yeah, quote unquote working.
Until episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does seem to be early enough so that they still got clone troopers.
Well, see, I think because there are stormtroopers in the trailer, because you see white armor marching and it's very clearly stormtrooper armor. So I think the clone troopers in that trailer are from a earlier point in the timeline, like when Cassian's a kid, flashback type thing.
Yeah, that might be true actually.
And we're talking about the same Cassian Andor that was in Rogue One, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
How well did Rogue One perform?
I mean, I think outside of Force Awakens, it was the highest grossing of the 5 films that came out afterward.
It's definitely the most well received one.
At this point, yeah.
So yeah, if you pick up all of the disguise parts, Lewis, they'll just ignore you, I think.
Oh. Yeah, I should try that.
Anything in this house? Oh, a rebel.
Yeah, so sorry if I talked over you guys. I was just trying to tell Lewis a couple things and...
No, that's fine.
Dude, you just killed Anakin.
My father, no.
Oh, didn't mean to do that.
Those stormtroopers keep coming up with increasingly elaborate ways of bullying the locals. Now, they've started parking banthas in front of people's doorways. Their depravity knows no bounds.
I think I took a wrong turn. I'm lost.
That's okay. Just follow the exclamation point.
Near the trade tower. Might be worth checking it out. But be careful. There are patrols in that area.
Oh gosh, my controller.
Also, we have confirmation that Andor is getting at least 2 seasons, so we don't have to.
Interesting.
We don't have to wait and speculate. Yeah, because the first season is going to consist of 12 episodes and seems to be finished. And then the second season is going to start filming later this year.
Man, isn't it a little soon to jump the gun on that?
It's Disney Plus. You know, they've got that Disney money. I mean, maybe they had a 2-season story they wanted to tell, 24 episodes, something like that, and it's like, okay, well, here you go, have fun.
I mean, they did. I mean, didn't they also confirm that they've started work on season 4 of Mandalorian? I think I saw something about that somewhere.
Season 3 of Mandalorian is coming out in February of next year. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about them confirming work on season 4 yet, since they're still in like post-production of season 3. But it wouldn't surprise me if that's somewhere and I just missed it.
Or maybe it's more in a planning stage. That might have been.
Yeah.
I don't remember the specific words. I just remembered Mandalorian season 4 being talked about in some capacity. But that one makes more sense to already be like, okay, let's plan another season.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Especially since there are only like 8 episodes a season.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan?
Maybe the good old. Nah, that didn't work. There is another Star Wars trailer we haven't really touched upon.
There was.
That's Jedi Survivor. I mean, we mentioned it, but we haven't talked about it. I'm sure Prentice is super excited.
So we actually talked about this a little bit before you got here. Not much, but we did talk about it a little bit. So so that's why we hadn't. It didn't. But but please go ahead. Say what you wanna think, and then we can like go over what we've already talked. Lewis hasn't really been able to talk. One thing he said when we were off air is that he's actually a big fan of Fallen Order, so he's really excited. Not to take words out of your mouth, you can speak for yourself, but it's like it seems like you're excited for it. So I guess Loka, you can say what you're thinking, and then Lewis can give his verdict on Fallen Order, and we can talk about things from there.
I don't really have much to say honestly, since it is just a teaser trailer, and there's a lot of questions, I'd say. But I'm definitely interested. I did enjoy Fallen Order well enough to see where it's all going to go. I mean, I would have been regardless, just because it's Star Wars related, but I mean, I did enjoy the game well enough to already be like, oh, I'm curious what they're gonna do in terms of both the story, but also in terms of
the gameplay.
The gameplay, yeah.
Are they gonna stick with that? It seems like they're probably gonna stick with that approach. I would think. The Souls-like.
Yeah. I mean, probably with some refining.
Weird. It would be weird otherwise.
Like blasters.
Considering that was one of the reasons people loved it, so it would be weird to go with something else.
It would, but I wouldn't necessarily be upset about it.
Yeah. Plot twists. Jedi Survivor is actually the FPS they're working on.
He fled during the chaos at Jabba's palace, and I have been instructed.
I think my biggest thought was I had no expectation for them to make a sequel to Fallen Order.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, I never thought that would happen, honestly. If you asked me, I probably would have said no.
Yeah. No, you don't want one, or no, they're not making another one.
They wouldn't have made one. Like, I don't know.
And why do you think they wouldn't have made one? Just because of the way the story ended, or?
That's a good question, honestly. I guess they did. The story left it open-ended, like, so they could have like more adventures and stuff. But I don't know. It just kind of worked as its own thing, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't like too revolutionary of a game. Like, I enjoyed it though, but
You watch out for those
I don't know, nothing
little too trigger happy,
like
if you ask me.
that like would leave a mark on history enough to like have interest in a sequel, I guess. Yeah.
Well, now, okay, so one thing really quick about that, though, is I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, when they did the initial reveal, here's what the game, here's what it is, not talking about the weird thing where Vince Zampella was in the audience at that one E3, and he's like, hey, here's what the game's called, and that's all the information we got. When we got the proper reveal, I'm pretty sure they said from the get-go that it was the first in a trilogy. So...
Really? Oh.
If I'm remembering correctly, I may be mixing it up with something else, but I feel like that because when I finished it, I had my feelings about it. I'm like, well, I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with the sequel. So like the sequel is like at the time, sequel was already a foregone conclusion in my mind. So I don't know if that's because I had a fresher memory of them saying that it was going to be a trilogy, or if I was just like, of course they're going to make a sequel to this because people seem to be liking it. So I can't remember exactly. It's been too long, and Fallen Order is one of the things that I've not thought that much about when it comes to Star Wars in the last couple of years. So, but anyway,
all I really remember was that even like shortly after the game had come out, there was already talks about the potential sequel. But that's all I remember, really.
Interesting. I guess I didn't really gauge much community opinion on Fallen Order, now that I think about it. I kind of just played it and then put it down, and it's like, yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I can't remember where I am. I took a break from it. Either something came out, as usual, so either something came out or I got preoccupied with another thing like school I know was going on at the time. But I've enjoyed what I liked. Honestly, it itched that Metroidvania, that 3D Metroidvania that I've always wanted for a while now. Like outside of Metroid Prime, and we have heard nothing about that.
Yeah, rip.
Yeah, but what else? Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know who the woman in the tank is, and I would also like to point out
I don't think that's a woman. I think it's a guy.
No.
Actually, it might stop share play.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of sleepy at the moment.
Yeah, I am too. We should probably be wrapping this up so we can finish up with the Fallen Order talk, I guess. But.
Yeah. I'm excited to try it out, or I'm excited to play it. It looks like fun. I think it'll be interesting to see where they take the plot. And other generic things. It really makes you feel like a Jedi.
Makes you feel like a Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah. Or a Jedi Survivor in this case. Ooh.
See, and I'm already looking more forward to this as a sequel just because I think Jedi Survivor is a stronger title than Fallen Order.
You're looking for Malakili? He's the boss of this here restaurant, but we're not open
True.
yet.
Yeah.
Why don't you come back later? Sure, he'll be happy to talk to you then.
So, it has been a while since I've expounded my thoughts on this game, but I'll be brief. I did not really particularly enjoy it. No, I didn't. There are those that think I didn't enjoy it just because I was bad at the game, and I will admit I was not great at it. But immediately after launch, it seems like based on what I've looked into since. Yeah, it's got some performance issues, so there was enough that it was already kind of taking me out of it. It's like when I turn a corner every 20 minutes or so and there's T-posing stormtroopers, that's a little odd. Especially for a AAA game in 2019. Forget about now. But I was like, okay, why am I constantly running into T-posing stormtroopers? And then the difficulty was just not well balanced, I didn't think, because I'm pretty sure I started playing on Jedi Knight mode because there's the 4 difficulties. It was Padawan, Knight, Master, and Grandmaster. And I started playing on Knight mode because I'd never played a Souls-like game before. That was my first Souls-like game. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be any good at this, but I'm going to try it. But I don't want to put it on baby mode. I want to at least see if I can take some of the challenge. And that difficulty was just not like well balanced at all, because there would be some areas that would be like a cakewalk, and then there would be others where it's like something that would seem like it's supposed to be easy, where it's like, okay, it's a hallway with 3 enemies in it. This should not be difficult, and it's kicking my teeth in. Why is a hallway with 3 enemies that are just like, it's just 3 scout troopers in a hallway? Why is this being difficult? This should not be a section that's difficult. It doesn't seem like it should be anyway. So it's just like it was not well balanced. There's a couple of technical glitches because like Loka actually uploaded a video which you can go back and look at. A plug for this channel. Of just like some of the glitches he encountered, and I encountered like some of the exact same glitches in the exact same spots. Like if you land in a certain position on Kashyyyk after swinging from a vine, you'll just like clip through the ground or something like that. And it's like, okay, that's I don't think that's supposed to happen, but it seemed to be happening, okay, on enough frequency that Loka and I had to encounter the exact same glitch like a week apart from each other or something. And so then I finally got frustrated enough with the Ninth Sister boss fight on Kashyyyk that I was like, okay, I am dumbing this down to Padawan difficulty, and we'll see if that makes things better. And it did make things better, and I was kind of starting to enjoy it for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is better. Maybe this game was just too hard for me, technical glitches aside. But then I realized that the difficulty for Padawan was, I called it baby mode just to be joking when I set out. But as it turned out, it really was baby mode, because you would have to get like within 2 feet of a stormtrooper for them to attack you. And it's like, okay, and they would hardly put up any resistance whatsoever. It's like, okay, now this isn't even a cakewalk is harder than what this game is now, and it was just ridiculous. Like the one big boss fight everyone always says they had trouble with, no matter what their difficulty was, Terran Malicos, the Darksider guy on Dathomir.
Yeah,
and
I
think I beat that guy in 2 tries on Padawan difficulty, because it's like, oh my gosh, this is the one you guys had trouble with. I beat him in like 2 tries on Padawan difficulty. So so if he's the hardest boss in the game, that tells you how dumbed down Padawan difficulty was, if I was able to do that in 2 tries. But then the Second Sister final boss fight was stupid hard. It had another difficulty spike, like, well, this is the last boss fight, so we're just going to make you tear your hair out. And afterward, I was still kind of, after the game was done with it, I was still seething, kind of mad at it, and I went to see what other people did, and so I pulled up a random, I just searched like Second Sister boss fight into Fallen Order on YouTube, and I found like, oh my gosh, what was that?
My controller again.
Oh.
And so I found like, oh, yep, that would do it. I hope it's not even more busted.
Wow, it's actually working better. That's amazing.
That would be funny, actually. But so I found like 2 or 3 random Let's Plays from people I'd never heard of before, and I pulled them up, and I knew immediately that they were playing on a different difficulty than me, because the Second Sister had different attacks.
Oh.
The final boss level has different attacks based on what difficulty you play it as. Because on whatever difficulty they were playing on, a probe droid would come out occasionally and attack you, and you'd be able to use the Force and throw it into Trilla and deplete her health somewhat. Didn't see a Nope. Did that? I never saw a single probe droid during my playthrough on Padawan for the final boss fight.
One of her AOE attacks is different.
Yeah, because what her AOE attack on Padawan difficulty is a flashbang that is near unavoidable, and so you become flashed. And so you become flashed, and you can't see her force pulse wave coming. And so, I mean, it was like almost impossible. It's almost like that they accidentally, because having a probe droid be summoned on occasion for you to throw into her to deplete her health periodically, I feel like that's easier than what the Padawan. So it feels like that they accidentally flip-flopped the Grandmaster boss fight animations and moves and what the Padawan moves. It's like, okay, we'll go easy on you and give you a pro droid to throw at her on occasion. Where for you guys on Grandmaster, she's going to flashbang you to death, so you can't see what's coming and you're going to want to tear your hair out. But they accidentally flip-flopped it and put the hardest boss on the boss version on the easiest difficulty. So it's like sudden I mean, that's not even a difficulty spike. That was a difficulty mountain, where it's like you're just walking on a flat curve and suddenly the Grand Canyons, or not the Grand Canyon, that's because it's Mount Kilimanjaro's in front of you. So it's like, what the heck is this? And then the load times were also not great.
Oh yeah, they're better on PS5. Still not well
I'm sure
optimized.
They are.
Yeah,
and this is only due to Respawn not being the best with
Unreal. Yeah. So
I mean, think about it. They used IdTech for Call of Duty Modern Warfare like 1 and 2. I know it's like IdTech 4, so it must have been an earlier IdTech branch for the earlier Call of Duties that they worked on, like 1 and 2.
Yeah, they had
and they
IdTech
also
for
worked
1 and maybe 2, and then they made kind of their own
for Call of Duty 4
version of
onward.
the IV engine, I think
Yeah,
they called it.
and it's based off of IdTech.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. And then they
so
also
you
worked
switched
on...
to Unreal after all that time.
Oh, no. Then there was Source. You cannot forget Source. They worked with Source for both Titanfall games and I think Apex? But they modified it so heavily. It's kind of like Quake Engine to Gold Source, if any of you guys are PC gamer enough to understand that.
No, not really.
Loka? You either? No?
I know Source. I know, yes.
So Gold Source was built on top of Quake 2 or Quake 1's engine, but they changed it so much that it basically became its own thing. Yeah. So imagine like, and Gold Source's source I think is still radically different if I remember correctly. Could be wrong though.
So it wasn't optimized great. So
when you
get to the admittedly awesome Vader moment at the end of the game, when Vader shows up, I'm like, oh, and this is something I do love about the game, despite my problems with it, is that everyone has the exact same reaction when Vader shows up. No one's like, all right, let's fight Vader. Everyone's like, I need to run.
Yeah.
No one wants to fight Vader. Everyone is like, okay, get me the heck out of Dodge. And he doesn't even get a health bar because there is no beating him. He's Darth Vader. So, and another problem with it being kind of an unoptimized game is that hitboxes on terrain wasn't exactly the greatest. So you have that final parkour section running away from Vader, and I fell to my doom like 3 times in a row and had to sit through 30-second loading screens just to repeat the process 3 times in a row until I finally found the one perfect place where they wanted you to jump across the gap over onto the thing so you could respawn run across it. Was it
one of the slides?
It was one of the slides. Yeah, you had to jump at a certain point to make it to the other side. It's so stupid. I'm like, okay, this was a cool moment that you've now ruined because we have to jump exactly when you want us to.
Not an issue on PS5. It might have been a frame rate issue. Frame rate can change hitboxes, but I don't know to what extent. So it'd be really interesting to see if it was an issue with frame rate or if I'm just going insane.
So that really annoyed me.
I recommend you give it another playthrough. It deserves
I will.
another one, and I
especially
recommend
on PS5.
You stick it out, and if you want, call me, and I'll share play and help you get through some sections.
At the very least, I'm going to try to go through on night difficulty again and dumb it down to Padawan if I have to, just to like appreciate everything else. And I also had problems with the way the story was presented because, like, it seemed like the more unlinear way of going about it seemed like a cool idea on paper, but I don't know if it worked that way in practice because, like, certain character arcs just like seemed out of order or rushed because I accidentally unlocked them way earlier than I was supposed to. So it's like, okay, I think this is supposed to be an impactful character moment, but I'm encountering it like an hour after meeting this character instead of close to the end of the game, which I feel like this is where this actually belongs. So So yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel because like the game not being optimized, the difficulty being not being very well balanced. This is all stuff that now that they've made these mistakes the first time, hopefully they can get out of they've gotten it out of the way and they know how to better prepare for the second time around. Because it definitely honestly I think like when it was announced to be a fall game, everyone was kind of surprised. It's like, oh, it's coming out in the fall, and it's like I don't think I even believed it at first. I'm like, I think this is getting delayed till spring, and it never did. So I think it probably would have been a great March 2020 game. Because imagine if it came out then, and it's like everyone's stuck at home. So it did well in November of 2019, but I think and that was probably the reason it came out when it did, is that it came out like a month before Rise of Skywalker. So it kind of had a little bit of that movie tie-in. But no one can see a global pandemic coming. So hindsight's 2020. It's like, oh, we could have waited another couple of months and released it in March right before the pandemic started, so everyone would be forced to sit home and play it. And then there would have been like 4 games of the pandemic. It would have been Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Warzone, and Fallen Order, which is a very different swath of games. There's kind of a little bit for everyone there. I know 2 of them are FPSs, but Doom is very different from Call of Duty. So that kind of would, but even then, that was still kind of a special time for games, because everyone was stuck at home playing video games, basically. So it was still cool to see that there was a little something for everyone at the time. It would have, but it's like they could have maybe ironed out some of those issues by getting an extra couple months to polish things that I wouldn't.
Oh, and Doom
borderline
is better than
the game.
Modern Warfare. Just putting that out there.
What?
I don't have the energy to debate that right now.
I know, mainly because you're wrong.
I didn't even hear the question. What was it?
He said Doom Eternal's better than Modern Warfare 2019.
Oh, okay.
I think they're very different. It's almost impossible to compare. But like I said, I don't have the energy to go in on that right now. So yeah, final verdict. I'm looking forward to Jedi Survivor, especially since because like my favorite character in the game is Marin, and the way I played it, I didn't really get her until the very end of the game. I'm like, oh, I would have liked more with this character. So now we will get more with this character.
Where do you get her?
Dathomir.
Oh, really? Okay.
She's the Night Sister.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I usually jump around. I don't try to finish everything in one area unless it's like extra side missions, like some of the optional bosses. I love doing optional bosses. It gives me because those are usually the hardest ones for me, not the main ones. It's the side ones. So if I can beat one, I know I've done something right. And it's this nice sense of accomplishment. But then again, that might be all Soulsborne games, and I don't have the mental fortitude to go through any more than what I've just done. I don't even care for Rise of the Darkspark. Oh, I hate that game.
Darkspark? Don't get it away from me.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Crap. Elden Ring. I don't care for it.
You're like the one person in the world, apparently, that doesn't care for Elden Ring the way everyone else seems to be playing and loving it.
Oh, yeah. It's so hard and challenging and fair and... Dude... all this other stuff. No, I don't like the gameplay. I love how open-ended it is. I love the story. It seems so interesting, and if it weren't for that punishingly difficult gameplay, I think I would love it like everyone else does. But, sorry, that's neither here nor there. And it sounds like everyone else wants to go to sleep, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound about right.
Yeah. Conclusion, video games.
Yeah.
Video games are cool.
Yeah.
Star Wars is cool.
Indeed.
Girlfriend, who needs her? I got video game.
I know.
Join us next Valentine's Day when we cry over, I don't know, Modern Warfare.
Oh boy, speaking of glitches, my cape is glitching out because I'm standing on a bit of a weird spot.
A rock in a hard place, perhaps?
Nah, I'm standing on one of the engines on a N1 starfighter.
Oh. I'm just trying to make my way up to the... I thought that was thunder. It's not even raining, it's sunny outside. I'm just trying to make my way up to the oven temple. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of our discussion on a lot of this Star Wars stuff going on.
Yeah.
Especially
and Morbius.
And Morbius.
And a little bit on Morbius, yeah. So I guess it's as good of a time as any to end this first episode. Question mark. I mean, well, it is a first episode, but will there be,
a second?
It may as
Only
well also be its last. Who knows? Anyway, the first episode of Happy Hours. I think the only distinction I made in my head.
Pleasant. I'd rather call it pleasant time frame.
Enjoyable seconds.
I think we broke him.
Who?
We're all broken.
Yeah, we're all broken.
You.
I've had a long day.
Wow.
Yeah, so this was the first episode of Happy Hours. I think this might be one of those things where if I'm ever like, I have some extra time or energy on say a Monday or Wednesday, and say maybe
or a
there's
Tuesday.
Nah.
No.
That's too much. That's too much.
Nah.
I can do Mondays and Wednesdays, but Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're asking too much for that, pal.
But yeah, gosh, I've been spoiling you people. Not you. I'm the YouTube people.
Yeah.
You've been spoiled with content this last couple of days.
Look at
Be
all
grateful.
that content.
But yeah, that's all for today. We'll see when and or if the next episode of Happy Hours comes out. But if nothing else, there's always more weekend at Locus. But yeah, I have been joined by Prentice1215.
I have no snappy comeback.
And neither do I. Now, does Daxter have one?
Good night, America. Even though most of your viewers are probably European.
True.
Well, based on last night's streams,
night.
there's definitely a couple of Americans at least.
Huh.
And also last but certainly not least, Lewis.
These hours were indeed happy. Sometimes.
Pleasant past times. Wait, no, it's in the future tense. Dang it. Or present. Pleasant present. There.
Nice.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. You can also follow me on Twitter at LokaCola, assuming you want to, assuming you're even on this hellish website. And you can also
I use
find
it to look at puppies.
Yeah,
That would make one of you.
Yeah. It's probably the best way to use it anyway. And Prentice also has a YouTube channel, and if you were here specifically for Lego Star Wars stuff, you might be... Prentice's channel is definitely a good place to look if you want Lego and Lego Star Wars, as in the real
and
physical
Star
thing.
Wars.
Maybe not Lego Star Wars games, but...
Yeah, if you're a big fan of the Skywalker saga, you may not want to check out my video, honestly.
However, I don't know. Is there, however?
However, there is no however. We're going to bed.
Yeah.
I concur.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.